Human beings are social creatures. This is an extensively used statement that glorifies the kind of connection human beings can make. This is perhaps very similar to all animals and is, therefore, one thing that makes us alive. Certain elements such as anger, love, fear, warmth, and so on can only be felt by living creatures, and more importantly, can only be expressed in the best manner by human beings. Human beings have the ability to explain this through touch and voice, which is not the case with any other living creature, as no other creature speaks like the way humans do. However, with many such blessings, there is one such factor that may cause you to take a step back and not take the efforts towards the goal you've always wanted to achieve. That factor is fear. Today's video will tell you about how to overcome this fear and how to survive in a manner that will help you lead a very happy, positive, and social life. And more importantly, to live life to its fullest. And this is not what we say, this is what Elon Musk will be telling you. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel to make the most out of each word uttered here, intended to help you overcome all your fears and live your life. Now, the first thing when you step into a new world, something that you haven't been doing since you were a kid, is fear of failure. This fear, in fact, becomes the reason for your failure. You need to understand that it's not your incapability, it is your fear of being incapable that stops you from achieving what you want. That being the case, Elon Musk says that while you work on what you want to do, it's also important to look at what suits you and what may help you succeed in life. Wealth follows thereon. This perhaps is a very capital-intensive industry and hence may not really be a good start for you. On the other hand, he says that a good way to start off may be the solar panel company or the parts provider for the cars, as these industries are blooming even as we speak. His love for space came out through his physics background and also had a lot to do with his habit of reading books. This is what made him the chief technology officer at SpaceX. Elon Musk's approach towards the concept of space strengthened as he surrounded himself with smart people. Giving everything that he's got, irrespective of the circumstances, is yet another key factor that he made sure that he did during his tenure. Now, this approach, as we all know, has taken him a long way. This, as a matter of fact, was not something that he himself expected to happen. He says that none of this is what he truly expected. The only thing he wanted to do was get involved in technology, which he did, but was rejected for a job at various internet companies. Unlike others, this did not demotivate him. Neither did this make him feel bad for what he's been doing in his past. His dedication to his aim was what drove him, and hence fear became irrelevant, as he was doing what he loved to do. He says that he also tried to get a job at Netscape, however, he was too shy to talk to anyone, and the result of this too was not in favor for him. All these factors later led him to start a company of his own, in which he was very successful. He says that he's not fearless per se, however, he says that if he believes that what he's doing is important enough, he overrides all the fear and focuses on what he has to do. He then goes on to say that in the modern economy, there is nothing to be afraid of. A freshman coming out of college has multiple ways to earn money. All it takes is determination and will to get started. For a person who has a mortgage to take care of, a family to feed, and rent to pay, things may be different. However, this might not be the case for a youngster, and hence, that is the best time to get started. The only fear in the mind of a person who hasn't got much to lose is failure. To this, he says that people will need to be less risk-averse when there isn't much at risk. Speaking of what drives him, he says that his ideology about the future is what drives him at all times. We all know about the mission he's on. To make Mars habitable is in itself a huge task to accomplish in any manner. Such tasks are what keeps him active and focused at all times. Getting inspired by what is likely to happen in the future is yet another major force that keeps him awake. He says that this is perhaps the principle behind Tesla and SpaceX. He believes that America is the nation of explorers and says that it's the distillation of the human spirit of exploration. This also made him feel that there are chances for both Tesla and SpaceX to fail in the initial days. He even expected to lose the money he put in these companies. He had a stern belief to live with the remaining portion of the money he had after selling PayPal. However, as time passed, there were times when the company itself had no money, as a result of which he started to put in all the money and started living by borrowing money from his friends. So the drive he had within him is what helped him make these bold decisions and, in the end, override fear to make it almost negligible. What we can learn from this is that for a person who has a sufficient drive and is focused on creating something special for him, fear may almost turn negligible and irrelevant. This will be the point where you are fully determined to make it a big success. However, even when a person does that, he or she will still fear it. That is normal human nature, and one must not degrade the same as well. The day of the test for SpaceX was perhaps the fourth test that they conducted. If that had failed, it might not have been as what we know it today. He needed to find great expertise, a great chief engineer, and make things work in the manner in which they needed to be. The fourth test turned out to be a massive success, and in his words, it lit the darkness for him. He says that all a person has to do is put in more effort, put in more time, and what others take a year to achieve would just be a matter of a couple of months for you. It is at that point that you can say that you've worked on the drive and worked on the fear that you have had. Opportunities will then be endless, and the steps that you take from that point in time will be much more crafted and precise. This will be so because you would then have experienced a lot more than what others would have achieved. He says that one needs to work hard every waking hour. Doing so will help you get a lot of work done in comparison to what you may get under normal circumstances. Yet again, this is what drives him. The technological advancements, making life multiplanetary, are just some of his targets that need to be achieved. He says that staying back on Earth will be a slow wait for an extinction event. Making life reach the other corners of this solar system will mean that we now have the option to continue existing even after life on Earth may have come to a halt. This may be the case as a result of global climate change, a war, or destabilization of the Earth's surface. Either way, evading from such an event may not really be possible for each and everyone. However, having lived elsewhere could help continue this wonderful species, which, as we said, is the only species on Earth capable of doing all that it has been over the past years. This achievement needs to be fostered, remembered, and inscribed, for which human survival is a necessary mandate and not an option. Considering a multiplanetary life is no longer an option for him, but a necessity that may come any time from today. The threats that constantly are rising on Earth is one of the major reasons for them. What we need to learn here is that this is a fear that he has, however, this fear was overdriven when he found a way to make life multiplanetary. This gave birth to SpaceX and hence our hopes today to see human beings on Mars someday. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more such content. Turn on the post notification to stay updated and let us know in the comments below what makes you feel driven and focused. Till we meet again on the same channel, keep exploring.